Okay, so we were both in Birmingham at the time. I'd finished college and Francis was at college, but we'd met after that, as it would go. But same story, you know, we're doing this yoga and the girl invites us to meet Shri Mataji. And for me it was really weird because I'd been seeking and I'd been everywhere, and I'd also used to go up to the library in Birmingham, which has got a really good section on other religions and alternative religion, well, Indian religions, Eastern religions. And I remember reading this little few lines that said, you know, getting self-enlightenment was like being slightly drunk, which Francis actually did say that, that's what I remembered. And I remember, you know, Shri Mataji coming to Dr. Johnson's house and listening to that talk, but the thing that I was most impressed with was, when Shri Mataji spoke, she never said, well, I think it's like this, and I think it's like that, and I think it's like the other. She just kind of went and said, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is like this, this is it. I thought, you know, how can she say that without, you know, there being a debate? And then something in my head said, she talks like Christ, you know, she just talks like she knows that it is like this and it isn't any other way. And I remember thinking, this is really weird. And that she did just talk like that. And after, you know, she gave a talk, I did feel realised, and I did know that it was that, kind of. But I didn't know what that meant. I'm a Westerner, so I'm realised, but I'm thinking, well, what does that mean, you know? So, and the funny thing is, I was always like, you know, as you can tell even now, but I couldn't stop, you know, I was always on the go, I was always busy. And at that point, I was really peaceful in my head. I just thought, wow, this is incredible, you know, I feel slightly drunk, but nicely drunk and really happy. And some of the guys that were there said, you know, do you want to work on other people with us? And I just said, yeah, you know, and I couldn't see why not. But normally I would have been thinking, you're weird, you're like, you know. But, and then, as Francis said, you know, then somebody said, you know, will you go and, would you like to touch Shri Mataji's feet or kiss Shri Mataji's feet? I can't remember which it was now. And I just went over and did that. And that was really weird as well, like, you know, why would a Westerner go and kiss an Indian lady's feet? And it was just so weird, but I didn't think at the time it was weird at all, just did it. So as Francis said, the next day we went to Bala's house, and again, I could feel where Mother was, and Bala said, you know, can you feel where Mother's been sat? And I could feel a wind coming from the chair. But again, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't kind of think, well, okay, yeah, so. But I remember feeling it, but not thinking anything about that. But again, Shri Mataji just, I don't think there was 20 in the room, I think there was far less, because it was a very small room, it was only like 10 by 10 or 12 by 12. And the thing again that Shri Mataji, she kept eating chana as well, didn't she?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she was always just throwing chana into her mouth and eating chana. I don't know if anybody else experienced that. And she used to say she was eating the boots, didn't she? And but what I was really impressed with was, or surprised by, is again, Shri Mataji went round the room like she normally does, you know, she's attentive to every single person. And she did that thing with that lady, and there was a guy sat in this corner, and she said, you know, what do you do? And he had a guru, and he had a mantra which was, who am I? And Shri Mataji said, I know this man, you know, and I thought, well, how does she know him? And you always got this feeling with Shri Mataji that, you know, it's only the second day, I'm thinking, how does she know that person? You know, and somebody spoke about, she said, I know them or I didn't know them, you know, depending on the guru or the spiritual teacher. And I was getting this feeling that where she was coming from with knowing them wasn't from a book or the newspaper, or I was getting that feeling from her that she was talking about, I know them from inside somewhere. Yeah. So that's the impression I got. But yeah, she was attentive to everybody that was in the room. And the story with me is that I kept fiddling with a watch while I was there. I'd only bought it a couple of days before. And I kept fiddling with it. And she said, give me a watch, you know. And I gave her my watch, and she bandanned it and said, oh, boots are like flies, they get everywhere. and she gave me the watch back. And of course, I haven't got that watch now because I didn't know who Shri Mataji was at the time and all things like that. So that watch is gone. I don't know where it's gone, but it has. And I also remember that she, for some reason, I think we went back 2 days. I don't know why I think this, because, or it might have been at some other point. Shri Mataji, you know, I've got eczema and asthma. Shri Mataji said bring lemons and also bring a small bottle of olive oil, which she vibrated, as we would call it now, but at that time, again, I hadn't a clue what she was doing with them. And that's about it for them first 2 days.